Welcome back to Cameras, Crowns, and Chaos. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Lindsay King, and this is your host, Nash Smith. We are here with our special Tuesday edition of the podcast for the Bachelor recap. So let's dive right into it. I didn't find last night's episode overly thrilling. I thought it was, it was lackluster.
Yeah, it seemed a little run of the mill. There's a few things we'll talk about, but it wasn't the most over the top episode by a long shot.
No, it wasn't. And honestly, with you being a new Bachelor Nation fan, I was hoping for like a little bit more excitement, but I didn't really get it. Although I did have a key takeaway from last night's episode that definitely left me with some questions and feeling a little confused about Grant. So I had posted on Facebook last week and I shared a link to the to the episode. And a friend of mine, she commented, which I haven't had a chance to respond back to her yet, but I had seen that she had commented, I think over the weekend, and she was talking about how she's wondering if Grant's here for the right reasons because he dropped a song right before, I guess like the day before, don't quote me, but he dropped a song right before The Bachelor premiered. Did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that either. So she's saying like between that and the rapping, is he here for the right reasons? She's like, I know that you hate that phrase, the right reasons. And then later in the comments, she used the word on this journey and she's just being funny. But, and by the way, I have figured out, it occurred to me last night, why those phrases get under my skin so much. It's because I don't just hear them on The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I hear them in pageant world all the time. So the girls always talk about like, on my journey of becoming Miss whoever, or they'll say, I'm definitely here for the right reasons. I'm here for the scholarship. I'm here for the opportunity. I'm here to serve my community. So it's not that they're bad phrases. I think I just hear them so often that I'm kind of like let's just get some new verbiage, So anyways, so I am leaving. I am wondering now, Kelly made that comment, and I'm wondering now if it is possible that Grant is not here for the right reasons. So
it's definitely possible. I've seen it happen on other reality TV. You get somebody on there that's just trying to push, their career outside the show,
right,
and stuff like that. Could also be he's there. He's there for the right reason, but he's also using it as an opportunity.
Right. Which, okay, whatever.
Strike when the anvil's hot.
Yeah.
They say.
But also, just be clear about your intentions. I think that's my thing. Just be clear about your intentions. Yeah. And I couldn't tell you right off my head who else I really liked from Jen's season where Grant came from, but he was not my first choice. He was not who I was hoping would be the Bachelor. I can't even remember now, which is terrible. But he was not who I was hoping. But when they announced him, I'm like, oh, okay, seems like a good, solid, nice guy. So, it'll work. All right. Okay, so let's get into that first group date. All about finance.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on that?
Not a particularly exciting or even revealing date. I thought the basketball date last episode was it allowed all of the girls to show their personalities a lot more. This one was it was like playing like Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
Where it's like, funny answer, ha ha ha. Also, I did some weird guess. I mean, the guy from Shark Tank, sure, he didn't do anything.
Right.
And then the comedian girl who is not really relevant to finance at all.
Right. I was confused.
Yeah. Yeah, and I literally wrote down, why is there a comedian here? And then she actually said the same thing right after I wrote that. And she's like, I don't know why I'm here. And I was like, right. Okay, at least we're both on the same page.
Yeah, I honestly, not only did I not really get that, but I also kind of had trouble paying attention to that segment of the episode. It just kind of bored me. And then, I know that they were winning Grant bucks and they were asking questions, but I also felt like the questions that you're asking, they're not anything that's actually going to let Grant get to know the girls. They're not any kind of deep questions. And they were all questions that 100% these girls can and probably should lie about because it's not anybody's business. This is finance stuff. That's no one's business. So that was kind of my take on that. On the Grant bucks thing, I thought it was kind of odd. So, Bailey won the most Grant bucks. And I thought it was odd that she had her choice on what she could spend her Grant bucks on. Mm-hmm. And she chose to sleep in his t-shirt or wear his t-shirt.
I thought that was weird too, because one of them was a private dance, which, who knows what that means.
Right.
But I was like, that is a much more, you get to spend time with Grant that way. The t-shirt is just give me your t-shirt. And then obviously it didn't work out very well.
Well, it did not work out, but I just thought it was weird too, because in my mind, I think, all right, when you the whole thing about wearing someone's t-shirt, is, to me, in my mind, like you smell them, like you know their smell, and then that's such a comforting smell to you. Like you don't know him like that. You don't know his smell yet. So wearing his t-shirt, I feel like at this point, unless he doused it with like a boatload of cologne, like it's not really something to me that felt like it would be something to improve or move their relationship, whereas having private time together would. The t-shirt thing kind of made me feel like, is that just so you can show it to everybody else? Is that, I don't know, like, is it so you can take selfies in it? Because we know that that's kind of our jam. So I didn't really care for that. Also, real quick, we have to go back and correct. Last week, we were referring to someone who got kicked off the show as Dina. And last night, I realized
Dina was still there.
That Dina was still there. So when my favorite character, Zoe, starts crying to Grant and saying that she wasn't feeling comfortable because everyone else was having fun, I couldn't handle it. I could not. I'm like, come on, girl. Yeah. Like last week, you had no qualms about making anyone else feel uncomfortable. You had no issue at all. Like you were there. You said, I'm here for a reason. I'm not here to make friends. I don't think she actually said that, but that was kind of the vibe and the attitude. Yeah. But now all of a sudden, because everyone else is having fun and she's not, she's uncomfortable. And I'm just not buying it with Zoe. I'm still not a fan.
No, she plays the victim a lot in this episode, which I thought was really silly. I don't know if you're gonna be the competitive one, you're gonna come out swinging. Don't be a crybaby.
Yeah, exactly.
It comes back at you a little bit. That wasn't even intentional.
No, it just
from the other girls.
I just feel like she came in the first week and she was definitely more, or maybe not the first week, the second week, and she was more the villain. And then last night, she definitely was, I felt like she was trying to be more of a victim, to be seen as softer. And it's just not working for me.
Yeah. Same here.
I did catch Serafina talking about Zoe's dress being, the shortest dress she's ever seen in her life. Whether you like Zoe or not, I thought that the comment was unnecessary. I don't think that it's okay to talk about like other people and how they dress, unless it is directly affecting your life. And that's not directly affecting her life.
Right. And also, it's The Bachelor. It's about a bunch of women trying to impress a guy. Maybe the dress was a little short. Maybe we're showing a little much in the chest. But at the end of the day, they're trying to attract a guy. That's the whole purpose of being there.
Exactly. Exactly.
While also on the date, there were a couple of little points I wanted to make of. Teresa noticed that the seat was open next to Grant.
Yes.
Just took it. Thought, nice move.
Totally agree. I liked Parisa's energy last night. She seemed a little bit more chill. Yeah. I feel like we got to see more of her and not like the gimmick that The Bachelor is trying to make her, like the editing, the cat lady with all the crystals and chasing lizards and stuff.
I don't remember what it was, and I'm sure we will get to it, but there was something still to that effect that I thought was they're trying to paint her as the weird one.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was definitely feeling Parisa last night. I was really excited, and she is very pretty. She's very, very pretty. I really like her.
Also, during all the questions when they were asking, getting their grant bucks and whatnot, the only answer that I thought was any of real significance was Allie Joe's answer about how much a wedding ring should cost, and she just said, "Doesn't matter as long as it fits on my finger and he has good taste."
Yep, I like that.
I like that.
I like that too. I want
to give her a mention because
shout out
I didn't mention much after this one.
Shout out to Allie Joe. We love you, girl. We love you. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll see. Allie Joe is the exact kind of person that they will bring to Bachelor in Paradise.
Okay.
Because she has already shown that she's feisty and she's not putting up with anyone's shit. So, like, I'm going to start a campaign, hashtag Allie Joe in Paradise, right? Like, let's do it. Let's make this a thing. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I remembered what Parisa did that I thought was a little weird. She played Chubby Bunny with Grant, which is, you stick marshmallows in your mouth and then you say Chubby Bunny. You're not allowed to chew them. And then you do it as much as you can, which is funny. It's fun.
Right.
But I still think the show is trying to edit her as the weird
100%. 100%. And do you ever, I wonder, obviously you're new to Bachelor, but you watch reality TV. Do you ever wonder, what are weird things that other people are doing, but, it doesn't fit the narrative that the producers want? So they're not showing, Sally Joe's weird stuff that she's doing. They're only trying to find weird stuff in another girl who's really not doing a whole lot. This whole season, the only weird things Parisa might even do is chase some tarantulas and play Chubby Bunny, but they're gonna paint that up, Okay, so any other thoughts on the finance date?
Other than after Zoe was complaining about all that, the other girls just did not care. They were just not buying it. They were like, "We're over a girl." this is
move on.
Yeah. I thought that was really funny. And this is where I noticed for the first time, what was her name? She's blonde. She got kicked off this episode.
Wait, Chloe.
Chloe, yes.
Yeah.
I kind of noticed her shtick, at least this entire episode, and I think if you went back and watched, you kind of see it too, is that while everybody else is talking, she's just sitting there listening, silently judging. But she doesn't participate. She doesn't get catty. And then, occasionally when it cuts to the one-on-one interview, it'll be her, and she'll say something kind of snarky and funny, and I really like that. And every time the camera would just cut to her, just like hugging a pillow. I'm gonna make sure my microphone. She would just be hugging a pillow, listening to the talk. Just not saying
taking it all in,
and just clearly judging all of the drama, and I loved her for it.
Yeah,
it was good.
I definitely feel like she's a girl who has probably been involved in drama, learned from it, and now she knows better to like jump in, say anything. I know some people that could take a note from her book, and I'm one of them. I love a little drama sometimes. I can't help it. But yeah. I agree. I definitely caught her silent judgment, and I kind of liked it. Yeah. I did. I kind of liked it.
Oh, I also wrote down on this one, is Zoe drunk? Because she was like nearly slurring her words.
Actually, that's very possible. I actually thought that she was being a little bit different last night. I thought her energy was different, but maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
I have seen things before where they talk about how, like, when they do the rose ceremony, it's at like 6:00 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. So this is my understanding. I could be completely wrong, but this is my understanding is that like they have their whole night, and they have their little they'll have like their cocktail party where Grant will get to go talk to everybody. But because of production and how long it takes and all that stuff, it literally goes all through the night into the early morning hours. And a lot of times they're being fed alcohol the entire time. And it sounds like, again, I could be wrong, but it sounds like they're fed alcohol just a lot in general in on the Bachelor franchise. So that's very possible. She could have definitely been drunk for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean like sloppy drunk or anything.
Right.
But just a little buzzed, a little tipsy.
Little buzzy buzz. Yeah. Possible.
So I don't know. I thought maybe that would explain a little bit of her behavior. Just a little bit. Not that she wouldn't have done it anyway.
Right.
I think,
for sure. 100%. 1,000% actually. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts on that? But see, as you can see, I don't have a lot of notes about the finance state because I just was like,
Yeah, there wasn't a ton going on there. Juliana.
Yeah, Juliana, I think.
Grant.
I really like her.
Yeah, she's nice. She and Grant, I wrote down that they have really good like physical chemistry, it seems like, but I don't know personality-wise if they actually.
I don't know if it's jiving. Yeah, but physically, I feel like they've got good personality. Hold on, I'll say that again. I don't know if it's jiving, but physically I feel like they have good personality. All right. I don't know if their personalities are jiving, but physically I feel like they do seem to have very good chemistry. But will he keep her around long enough to develop something more?
Yeah. Also, Juliana called Zoe out and told Grant about the drama, which I thought was interesting. I thought this might be a bit of an eye-opening moment for him. But I think maybe Juliana, she didn't single Zoe out in the same way that later in the episode, Carolina singles out Rose.
Yep.
So, I thought that might have been a moment for Grant to kind of realize what kind of person Zoe is, at least from our perspective.
Right.
But, not really.
Right. And I know like he's not seeing everything that we as the viewers are seeing. Like, and they're editing this to be a certain narrative and be a certain way. But my gosh, it is really frustrating when you see a contestant go to The Bachelor and say, hey, this is what's happening. This person is horrendous. And The Bachelor's just like, like, but I also understand it's a competition. And if you've watched The Bachelor, people are not always honest about each other. And some people go and play the victim, but usually you can tell who's being genuine and who's not. There have been seasons in the past where you'll have like 4 girls complain about one other girl, and he'll go and he'll question her. She'll cry, and then she'll get a rose. And I'm like, and then she walks back into the room with like that like group date rose, like the total freaking villain she is. It blows my mind sometimes that they just, I don't know, they don't see it. But then I've never been in that position. I've never dated 27 people at the same time or whatever it is. So I'm sure that's kind of hard to Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the rose, at the end of that, Parisa got the group date rose.
I was very happy about that. I wasn't just happy, I was surprised.
Yes, me too.
But I was really happy because, like I said, I think Parisa just needs a chance. I really, really like her a lot. Mm-hmm. There's something about her I think is really special and real and authentic. So yeah, I was happy to see that.
Yeah, I'm curious why Grant gave her the rose because they didn't really show her a lot on the group date itself.
Mm-hmm.
And, there were nobody but Zoe was really being like serious with their answers.
Right.
And so I wondered, did he give it to her because she was especially funny? They just didn't show her, which maybe, or maybe, I don't know, maybe she gave serious answers and, Grant was like, I like that you took this seriously. Yeah. I don't know, but they didn't show her, so we don't know.
Yeah, I did feel like, so I think that that's actually why I was surprised because I didn't feel like she gave a lot to be able to get that rose. But again, there must be things, you know what? She probably was saying really insightful, deep, great things, but they were like, this doesn't fit the narrative. Right. So we have to cut that out. But they can't cut out her getting the rose. Like they have to show that, so.
Lena, with the one-on-one date with Grant.
Yes. So that was interesting. I don't really know that I see a whole lot of real, true chemistry with her. At the same time, I don't know that I'm seeing real, true chemistry with anyone. Grant seems to kind of be like a bouncy ball, just bouncing to each girl, getting a little love here, a little love there. But I don't know. Like maybe I'm missing the mark.
Yeah. So just to set the scene, they go to Vegas. And I wrote they have really good like frenzy chemistry. Like they're like buddy, good times, laughs. But like
which is important. Yeah. That's super important.
And obviously to some degree they have good physical romantic chemistry because last episode when she was all up on him in a room full of people, that was something. But
right, for sure.
I don't know. The date energy seemed a little I don't know if it was bad, but it was kind of weird.
It was like almost a little bit forced, like a little, I don't know, like a little put on.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it compared to his one-on-one date the week prior with
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to call her Linda, but that's the name of the llama.
Yeah. I think, the big difference there, they, both dates were really fun.
Agreed.
But yeah, it seemed like there was just some kind of like distance there between Carolina and Grant.
He and Alex definitely connected better.
Yeah.
So when they were on the date and she started talking about her disability being epilepsy, I thought that was nice that she opened up to him. I thought that was a good moment, but at the same time, normally like when you make a big revelation to somebody like that and you say like, hey, this is my life, this is how it impacts me, and I want you to know, I feel like there's a lot more emotion, and she was showing emotion. Yes. And I felt like he did, I think he had a little tear. Like I do think that he had some tears. But again, I just wasn't sensing like this deep, like there doesn't seem to be any passion between them. Like it's like we're both doing all the right things. We're saying all the right things. We're trying, but I don't know. Maybe I just missed it, but I'm just not. Something's lacking there. Something's lacking.
Yeah, and I mean, Grant did say, if you take him at his word, he said he's feeling feelings for
her,
so whatever that means. And that the seizures wouldn't stand in the way of that. But yeah, at the same time, I felt like he wasn't particularly like supportive of her.
Yes, that's the right word.
And and it's not like I think that Grant said the seizures won't get in the way. I don't think that he like secretly is like, whoa, seizures are too much.
Right. No, I don't think it was that at all. But like there seemed to be like no like comfort, like no. I mean, there was comfort, but it seemed. I'm going to give you the bare minimum of the support. It was just very. I don't know. She opened up about something that truly impacts her life. So I wasn't a big fan of that moment.
Yeah, it was a little strange. That being said, last night I did write down, I do think right now she's one of the top contenders.
I do too, which is super weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so overall, do you see like a really deep or a deeper connection with him and anybody? Like, do you see, I guess not, I'm not even trying to compare, but do you look at him and say like, oh, he and so, this one's probably going to make it? Like, or are you looking at like when you say Carolina is one of the front runners? I completely agree with that, but I still don't know if I see passion with the front runners.
I mean, hey, we're only
right, for sure.
That being said, I think that right now him and Grant and Latia have the deepest connection.
I would,
we'll get to that because they have a whole one-on-one date.
Yep.
But I don't. But even that one is, to me, it feels the most real out of any of them. So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, that like that human connection, that real, genuine thing. I guess you're right. That is there between the two of them. I will say, and you did say, well, it's only episode 3. Things move very fast in Bachelor Nation, like very fast. So it's not unusual to see him have a crazy strong connection with someone by the 3rd episode. And by the 3rd episode, you're like, okay, these two are locked in. The girl didn't get time with him on the 3rd episode. She's sobbing because she got the one-on-one, or the first impression rose, and then the one-on-one, and they connected, and they basically got married, and like it gets really intense really fast. And I guess what I'm just not seeing this season is the intensity that I'm used to seeing, which I like. Yeah. But then everybody doesn't go at the same pace, and so I do recognize that some people are slower movers, and that's okay. And if that's Grant's style and vibe, that's cool.
Moving on.
Yes.
Beverly, who, like I said, I didn't even remember. Allegedly, apparently, is sick and won't be coming back to The Bachelor. So
yeah, wild.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess just take the show at its word. Hopefully she's okay. And
yeah, sending all the warm well wishes to Beverly. Not that Beverly's ever going to see this, but if she is ill, under the weather, whatever the case may be, we wish her all the best.
So Dina asks Grant to prom.
Yes.
Share your thoughts.
Okay, so my thoughts. I thought that was really cute because he said he's never been to prom. And so even though he's an adult and it's kind of cheesy and weird that they're going prom, I thought it was really nice that she asked him. I thought that was it was just really sweet. But your take on it?
Yeah, we do have a little difference of opinion here. To me, I thought it was weird because 1, Grant already asked her. He asked all the ladies to prom. 2, they were already at the prom. So, and to me, just as a viewer, I thought it was weird. But I think both of them thought it was nice. I thought Grant appreciated it. I thought Dina thought it was cute. So, I mean, hey, whatever works for them, good for them. Just as a viewer, I thought it was kind of weird.
Cheesy.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like, it was kind of cheesy, and it was kind of like maybe a little fake cute, but it was cute. It worked for me. It was fine.
Yeah. And after that, they kind of had a little conversation. They were talking about Dina's job. She's a lawyer. And Grant seemed a little skeptical or concerned that maybe she's too like work focused. But she says that she sees her family a lot. She wants to start a family, and she travels. So she's saying, no, I'm not too work focused, but I don't know that Grant totally bought that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that he bought that either. I feel like he was definitely skeptical, and I don't know if that might have been kind of like a dagger for her, like a or an X, I guess, on her little his checklist of items. I think she might have got an X on that because I don't necessarily know that he's looking for a career-driven woman. It's only the 3rd episode. I totally get that. But something so far to me, things are just feeling so superficial that I don't really know how deep he's looking. Like, is he looking for a good woman for a long time, or is he looking for a good woman for a good time for a short time? That's my question. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So I think Dina might be too serious for him. Like, she's too committed to her career, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if that's the case, bless and release and let her go.
Right. Well, she's still in, so we'll get to the rose ceremony later. Next thing, Zoe and Grant had a little dance, and I felt like they had no chemistry. Yeah, and she's like trying to force it. I mean, obviously, all the women are always trying to force it, and then the Bachelor is always trying to be, polite at least.
Right, for sure.
But I mean, hey, she got a rose.
She did. So I think he wants there to be chemistry.
Yeah.
Like I think he wants it to happen, and I think she wants it to happen, but like, and maybe one of them is feeling chemistry and the other one isn't and isn't just there, but I just don't see it. I don't see this working out. I think she'll last a week, maybe 2 more weeks. And I personally think she'll be gone unless the chemistry really starts to pick up.
Yeah, I agree. Next big thing was, so we talked about this a little bit, well, pretty extensively actually. It was the whole Carolina thing. But I did just have another note here that Chloe is still just listening to the group, silently judging. And then she gets real in like the one-on-one interview where she just talks to the camera. And she was like clearly really upset. But I appreciated how in public she just didn't get in on the drama.
Me too.
Yeah. So anyway, but pretty much the only thing left is the rose ceremony.
Yeah.
So
one note on Chloe,
go ahead.
Girls like Chloe. Something I've heard for I think my whole life is you got to be careful of those quiet ones because they sit back and they watch. And so I would not personally put myself in the label or on the list as a quiet one, but I'm definitely a watcher. I like to observe. And just because I sit and listen to all the information doesn't mean that I'm going to go share it. But what I like to do is take the information that I've heard from one person. And when the next person comes in and they tell me the same story, but in a completely different way, I like to be able to kind of make decisions on my own. I like to hear things firsthand myself to make my own assessments of things rather than just hearing one side from one person or getting wrapped up in all the drama and doing more talking than listening. That's my 2 cents on that.
Mm-hmm.
But those watchers, yeah, they're always listening.
I'd put myself in the watcher category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Watch
out.
So the rose ceremony. So safe ones we have going on are, well, and let's just say if there's any surprises here as we go through them.
Okay.
Latia, no surprise.
No surprise.
Carolina, no real surprise. Zoe, little surprise, but like you say, I think they both want there to be something there. There just is no there.
Okay, but also a note on Zoe. So episode 1, she comes in, she's fun, she does the shirt cannon. Episode 2, she definitely makes a scene, like she talks to Grant, and then she, she's interrupted by Allie Joe, and then she stands and she waits, and he knows she's standing right there. So she kind of, in my mind, even though she didn't say anything, she was making a scene. She wasn't being all that much of a girl's girl. She wasn't being overly fair. She kind of pulled the same thing at the basketball game, pulled them aside then. Mm-hmm. So you see like that drama was already bubbling up on episode 2. Then episode 3, she comes in and she's crying and she's saying, I feel uncomfortable. And da-da-da. So I do feel like their main interactions really have been based on her attitude.
Yeah.
One way or the other. Mm-hmm. So I am a little surprised that she's still there, but I think that maybe that means Grant finds her incredibly attractive.
Right.
And he's just trying to dig deeper to see if there's more there to her than that for him.
Right. And we'll get to this in a minute. Allie Joe is out this week. So
sad.
Yeah. Maybe he was actually taking more Zoe's side than, the edit might, suggest to us. Maybe he didn't see the same thing, as the viewers did. But I think that could maybe explain why, because if Allie Joe's out, Zoe's in, those two were definitely pitted against each other
for sure
in the edit last episode, probably in real life too.
For sure. Oh, for sure.
But yeah, so maybe that's how that came about. Okay. Other ones that are still in, Juliana.
No surprise.
No surprise there. Alex, I don't think anyone's surprised about that. Dina.
No, I'm not really surprised. I feel like we haven't got to see enough of her yet.
Yep.
But I am a little, I guess I'm mildly surprised because of their conversation, because I feel like he was being kind and polite and, saying that that was her lifestyle or her career path isn't an issue, but I definitely kind of wonder if it is. So I think maybe he's still figuring that one out.
Yeah. Natalie didn't really get any showtime this episode.
No, she didn't.
But I think last episode she showed really strong at the basketball game. Grant saw her interacting with the kids, so I think that was big for her. So she didn't get a lot of time this episode, but she's still in. Serafina.
I mean, I'm actually more surprised that Serafina's there than the 3 girls that left, because he seemed like he had more of a connection with the 3 girls that left. Maybe not Allie Joe. We didn't really see him have anything really with Allie Joe. I mean, the way that he let Zoe interrupt their date, like after he'd already had, or not date, but they're like talking time after he'd already just had time with Zoe, that kind of told me everything that I needed to know. But at least the other 2 women that left, are we naming them yet or no?
We'll get to them just a second.
Okay, yeah. So the other 2 women that did leave, I would have put Serafina out before I would have put those 2 out.
Mm-hmm. Also, Rose is safe, which we already kind of talked about. She got the rose, what that might say about whatever Grant said to her, and she said to Carolina, who knows. But
and did he keep her around because he knew if he let her go, she could go right to the blogs after this episode, right to Instagram, social media, and say, yeah, actually, by the way, he really did say that to me. Like, he really did. So I kind of feel like he might have kept her around as a safety precaution, or not to piss her off. But also, I think that we're going to see a little bit more of this particular situation unfold on the next episode, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, Parisa is safe because she got the rose on the group date.
Yes.
So let's talk about who is out.
Okay, so first and foremost, Chloe.
Yeah.
Chloe's gone.
Yeah.
She was the model, strawberry blonde hair, beautiful girl. Like you said, she was a watcher. She was a listener. She was paying attention. Definitely silently judging. I think I liked her, I wasn't disappointed to see her go per se, because I feel like I didn't get to know her enough yet.
Yeah.
In the way that like Allie Joe, I've seen her personality, and I was bummed to see her go, because I just thought she was going to be a lot of fun. Chloe, I didn't really see a whole lot from her, so I'm kind of indifferent to her, but I was surprised because I did feel like they had something there, like somewhat of a small connect.
Yeah.
No less than anybody else he's made out with, which is everybody, I guess. So, and then
Bailey is also out.
Were you sad to see her go?
No,
me neither.
Not at all.
Me neither. I think Bailey has other things that she could be doing right now. I think Bailey needs to focus on Bailey, and Bailey needs to give Bailey some attention and love from the inside, because I just think that Bailey got so worked up so quickly about not getting time with Grant after, it was the second episode, and she was so overwhelmed, and I just felt like it was a lot. And you're hanging, you're trying to like hang your star in someone's galaxy that you don't even know yet. Like I don't know. It was too much for me. So I think it was time for Bailey to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all we have, I guess.
And then Allie Joe.
Right, and Allie Joe. Yeah, which was sort of your.
I think Allie Joe is my favorite. Yeah. I don't know if okay, there's a favorite. You have to take favorite into context. Allie Joe was going to be my favorite, I think, because I think she was probably going to be the most entertaining in terms of like drama.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to speak her mind. I can't get over still the Yasmin Bleeth comparison. Like, I feel like she looks like Yasmin Bleeth. She's so beautiful, and her eyes are so striking. So visually, I think she's my favorite visually. And then I don't know. I felt like maybe she could be like that right kind of spicy, for Grant. But I guess she was not the right kind of spicy, as it turns out.
Yeah.
So
who now would you, out of the ones that are still in, who's your top pick? Which one do you like, and which one do you think will make it to the end?
Can I give you two that I think will make it to the end?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think Alex is going to make it to the end.
Okay.
Based on what we know today, current information.
Sure. Yeah.
I think Alex will make it to the end, and I think that Latia will make it to the end.
Mm-hmm. I definitely see Latia at the end as well.
Yes. But at the same time, part of me saying, no, Latia's not going to make it to the end, because if Grant is a surface level guy looking for surface level stuff, Latia's going to check out.
Yep.
Like, this is not going to work.
Yep.
But I definitely for sure think Alex is going to make it to the end. Who would I like to see make it to the end? I don't know. There's a lot on there that I really like. I didn't care for Alex episode 1. She really grew on me last week, as you know. So I would be happy seeing her make it to the end. I also really like the therapist,
Natalie.
I want to call her Rachel. I'm not really sure why. But I really like Natalie. Again, no camera time this week for the most part, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's really nobody that I don't care for other than Zoe.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm just, I don't dislike her. I don't know the woman. She's probably great. She's like a humanitarian in real life, probably. I don't know. I just don't care for the character that's being portrayed on this season of The Bachelor of Zoe. But other than her, I don't know. Like, I'm curious to see how all of these relationships kind of come together. I don't think that Rose is going to make it very far, to be honest. I do think that Parisa could make it far also.
Okay.
I feel like she could be a dark horse.
Maybe.
I feel like she could sneak up and no one would even see her.
I do think Rose could make it, actually. If she gets a one-on-one date with Grant, I think she needs some one-on-one time. That is like the big factor there.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, if you get eliminated early on and you didn't get a chance to go on a one-on-one date, or if you are the person early on who gets a one-on-one date, you get to spend a whole afternoon, day, evening, night, whatever, with the Bachelor, you're going to form naturally more of a connection with them than anybody else. So in that way, Alex was super lucky.
For sure.
I mean, I think her and Grant had some good chemistry anyway.
Yeah.
But, being the first one, it puts you in an early lead for sure. As long as you have good chemistry.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Well, we'll see where it goes. Like I said, right now, I don't know how I feel about Grant. And normally that's not my concern. Normally right now I'm like, oh, I don't care for this one, or I think this one's really great and this one's really great. But I never feel like this about The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. And I can say for sure, this is the first time I've ever gone into a Bachelor or Bachelorette series where I was fine with The Bachelor and then progressively started to not care for them. And it's not that he's not been rude. It's not anything that he's done that's been,
gentlemanly like conduct. Well, I mean, that's not true.
Well, right.
He do be making out with everybody with lips. But there's just certain little red flags to me that make me wonder, what are his real intentions?
Yep.
What are his motivations? If he's here to promote his music, himself, or his music and himself, and also find a wife, great. Well, like whatever they are, they are. Just as long as the women know where he stands. Don't waste their time. That's
Right.
my only thing.
Oh, did you notice the copious shots of like he'd be sitting with his arm around them and like hand does like on butt a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a lot of that going on.
Absolutely.
And there was like at least 3 shots of it I saw. So
yeah, and I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. You can be dating someone, and it's one thing when you are dating one person to have your arm around them, or you have your hand on their bottom or whatever. But when you're dating multiple women, I just feel like there is a line, a standard, a timeline of when things are acceptable. And like right now, I'm like, okay, so he's touching any butt that his hand gets close to.
Right.
He's kissing any face that his lips get close to. So that makes me feel like it's very surface level. And I get it. Some people are very physical. They're more physical, and that's how they show their their love, is just by simple touch. And I get that. But what he's doing to me isn't like a comforting, loving kind of touch, in my opinion. It's
like he's trying to make a move. Almost. Yeah. It's a little weird.
Yeah. I am curious. Like, is this going to end up being one of those seasons where something crazy happens and like there's some private time before we ever even get to the fantasy suites? Like some sneaky, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's like emotionally we've only made it to here, but physically we've made it to here.
Mm-hmm.
And that just is wild to me. It's just ass backwards.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching this special edition. We apologize again for our technical difficulties, but we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Make sure that you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, and check us out on YouTube. Signing out for Cameras, Crowns, and Chaos, I'm Lindsay.
I'm Nash.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.